My enemy of progress is, what are the names from, back in the day? Kind of back in the day. Tyra Banks.
Oh.
Tyra Banks is my enemy of progress.
Nice.
Yeah, because she was at an award show. I think like an Essence something Black Women
Awards.
Was it iHeartRadio? Okay.
No, sorry, that was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was. I was watching it this morning.
Anyway, she was there and she gave this speech.
I have dedicated my life to expanding the definition of beauty. Over 20 years ago, I created a television show called America's Next Top Model. And I fought, and you guys have no idea how hard we fought to bring the diversity to that television show at a time where it didn't exist, to show different beauties at a time when the world was like, what, you casting that and what is that? A time when people in the fashion industry were telling me, oh, you putting them girls in the hood on your show? I was like, why can the girl from the trailer park become a supermodel, but the girl that's chilling in the park in the hood can't? And we fought and we struggled, but we made it happen. Did we get it right? Hell no, I said something dumb. But I refuse to have my legacy be about some stuff linked together on the internet when there were 24 cycles of changing the world. We all evolve. We all get better together. And I am so excited that I and so many of us has opened that door for others to follow. And now my 51-year-old dimple, cellulite, bigger tummy, 10 million times bigger titties is walking through that door that I opened with all of us behind us on that runway saying, baby, it's just beginning. Thank you so much, Mama.
Basically saying, you know what, I'm accepting this, I'm really happy, but what I don't appreciate is, people putting clips together, do you know what I mean, and trying to rewrite my narrative, and, I was the person that changed diversity in this type of show.
Oh.
I did that, and it was so hard because no one was going to try and get a girl from the hood to come onto these shows. I
was rooting for you.
Basically.
Rooting for you.
Yeah. She done a whole big speech about this, and I call BS. Yeah, I call absolute BS because she's basically annoyed with these clips that come up every now and again about America's Next Top Model. That's it.
Yeah.
So these clips are like, some of these models being mistreated. They done like a blackface episode.
Yeah, crazy.
Like all the black girls having to cut all their hair off for no apparent reason other than Tyra says so. Like, do you know what I mean? Just controversy after controversy, do you know what I mean, in these shows, which we all watched and all grew up on. And
I loved it.
And enjoyed.
I enjoyed it. Enjoyed.
Now,
22 seasons.
24.
24. Let me get it right. 24.
Yeah.
And I watched not all of them.
Doing diversity. We were bringing the diversity in. And you were the sacrifice for the diversity. She basically is telling them to shush. And I had enough. If she, on her Tyra Banks show, can bring Naomi Campbell and say, you used to bully me and come on my show and deal with my rough because you used to bully me.
No audience.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No freaking audience.
Yeah, that was a moment.
Talk about control freak.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Seriously. And hold her and make her accountable for her actions.
Naomi.
Do you know what I mean? You see, Naomi was a bit squirmish that
and
day.
Naomi was like, this is bullshit.
Naomi didn't throw her phone at her head.
Honestly, if Tyra can do that, why can these models, that were on the show, not hold Tyra? accountable for their past actions.
Agreed.
And that's why she's an enemy of progress.
I will say I did see Yaya talk about how she spoke to Tyra at that moment, but she didn't know that Tyra had gone on stage.
Yes.
And it was the first time they'd spoken, and they had a moment, and she was like, that's all I needed, really.
Yeah,
and then obviously she to free herself from whatever the trauma of the show. I think there's something to be said about shows back then, like Little Britain, like... Oh, good times.
Fat Families.
Like, right. And even Diddy's Making the Band.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it was a toxic time, but I loved it. Do you know what I mean? It was racy. It was provocative. I can't lie to you. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to stand 10 toes. And, you know, and me and Audrey will go to the grave together with this. We loved that shit.
No, we did.
It was disgusting, but it built character.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I saw like
character.
It did. I loved it. It was and also I'm gonna talk about the receipts actually, because I listened to an episode where they spoke to Leomi Anderson, who's a model, and they were talking, and she was talking about that very much, like you know, the industry is not nice. It never has been. The modeling industry, whether you're white, black, Asian, the common consensus has been it's hard, it's harsh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
So I can't lie. There are so many women from that show that I wouldn't have a clue who they were. They wouldn't be doing what they do.
True.
If it wasn't for that show. So I will say, I will give her kudos in that respect, so Tyra, I mean, that she did create something that nobody, 20 years ago, nobody would have done that. And she's right. She did get girls from the hood.
Yeah.
5'4". Eva wasn't even tall enough to be a model. And she put her on. And now, you know, that's changed her life. I'm not saying that the things that they went through was fair and it was unjust. It was nasty. They were quite mean to them.
Yeah.
But did it make good TV at the time? Yes. Was it allowed at the time? Yes. If you did it now, could that happen? No. Like we've progressed so much as a culture and in regards to mental health and looking after people and how we treat people. It's not, you're not allowed to say certain things anymore. And, you know, there's bits you have to cut off me saying things because we've had to unlearn stuff. I just think that personally, I loved it, and I just don't want anyone to be
I would say I'm the same with you. But if we had a point, you're like, no, actually, I just my human speak. I just love it.
If they went through some real hard times and bad times, I'm not laughing at that. That's not what I'm saying. But we all did. Everyone did.
No, I'm going to say that I was a super fan, religiously watched America's Next Top Model. Didn't even think what was out. I thought what was out of order. But in the moment, like, it's a show, isn't it? It's a show.
Yeah.
However, I do think, and I'm also giving Tyra grace that maybe you're just you're edgy and you're tired and you've had enough. However, you cannot dismiss and just say, well, it is what it is.
Right.
I changed the fucking world. Deal with it.
That's what she said.
And that's how she said it. And that's the part where I was a bit like, because even when I watched, I didn't know what was going to be said. I was going to like, oh, Tyra. And then, oh, sis, a little bit defensive, a little bit like, fuck you all. Yeah. And it's the way she said, I'm not going to succumb to all these people clipping bits.
Yeah, the way she said the clipping bit was like she really didn't know what she was talking about.
One or two. There was not one or two. You had people in blackface.
Yeah.
You shouted at girls, and it is, yes, you took girls from the hood, but where was the duty of care? And Tyra didn't grow up that way, so I understand, maybe you don't understand the dynamic. You're not stupid, but you're maybe not really cognizant of the dynamics of taking someone from the hood and flinging them into an environment like that. Mm-hmm. There has to be a level of duty of care, and I know it was a different time, but it doesn't also, back in the day, we still had morals and respect
Well, actually,
and how to
navigate
yourself.
Back in the day, as a black girl, I was taught to dislike other black girls. If you weren't friends with other black girls, like I could not walk down the street and be like, oh my God, you're so pretty. That was never a thing. I do that all the time now. I'm like, oh my God, girl.
Well, what's that got to do with Tyra?
I'm saying that was the culture.
Okay,
so watching a black woman. By the way, she didn't do it to all black girls. They were all different, right?
Yeah.
So watching an American black woman who's a model, supermodel at that. see. And doing that didn't feel out of pocket to me at the time. It just didn't.
No, I loved America's Next Top Model. I loved that show. However, I have always felt
You can come for me if you want. Tyra's a little bit above her station. Tyra thinks that she's Naomi round these parts, and you are not, love. You were
Why
a
is she not?
Victoria's Secret model.
Oh.
That's what you did.
Not the same kind of model.
It's not the same kind of model as Naomi. Okay, I loved her show, but if you have been bullied, by
Right.
someone like Naomi, how can you then make a show and bully up the place?
Because hurt
and when
people hurt
you
people.
and when you're bully up the place, 20 years later, you still don't want to take accountability for your shit.
That sounds like a man.
Stand up there and take accountability for the fact that
None of this is out. Why is this like
No,
profound?
because you know what? Because she saw Yaya and didn't even apologize. Yaya has taken it upon herself and do I just need to let it go.
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? And now I'm, you know, now
I should be the villain.
standing up to
Why does she need to say sorry?
nothing.
I agree.
What?
No, I'm gonna.
Go on, no.
No.
Because
I
you know why she
agree.
needs to say
Who do
sorry?
you agree with?
I agree. Tyra has always been an arsehole
Thank you.
and a bully.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And she isn't going to take accountability.
Exactly.
If she doesn't feel that she has to.
Exactly.
Because she is a
A
thorough
boss.
millionaire and she did lots of different businesses and she was able to give Naomi a finger up to her. Like literally, she rised above in the ranks because she was a Victoria's Secrets. She knew I'm a busty girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she made good and then she used her smart. She's not going to apologize. She is literally like a thorough American conservative. Pull your bootstraps up
Yes.
and make it happen.
Yeah.
That's her. So asking somebody who has that mentality for an apology, you're wasting your time. That's why Yaya had to be like, I just had a convo with her. I've got to let it go. She's not going to apologize.
Fair enough.
We're not going to get any retribution from her.
But don't
She
tell
hated
people
her best
to
friend.
be quiet. Don't come
Literally
out.
everybody on the show is like, she hated us. The
Were they her
dark-skinned
best
guy-
friends?
Oh yeah.
Jay and Manuel.
Yeah,
They're
it's
all
true,
like,
Jay
she was
Manuel.
a-
Are they actual her actual best
She
friends?
used to say they were her best friend.
Okay, but it's show business. So.
In inverted commas.
You know what I mean?
She was like, these are my family.
They're her employees.
She's
They are
like
her
the
employees.
Simon Cowell.
It's just
She's like the Simon
patronising.
Cowell.
She definitely.
He ain't gonna say sorry for
definitely is.
mistreating anyone.
All
I'm
right.
not saying he did, by the way, Simon. You're a
Listen.
great man. No, because I like me some Simon Cowell. But I'm just saying, if someone came back and was like, Simon Cowell was mean to me, I'm not expecting him or Louis to be like, do you know what I mean? It's
Louis was saying that. Sharon was saying that.
Okay, fair enough. She ain't gonna apologise,
Yeah.
But don't get an award and start belittling these people.
That's all.
That's what you
That's all
shouldn't
she
do.
didn't need to do.
Like, don't
That's
mention
what
it
she
then.
needs to
Just be in the moment and say, this is amazing. You know, I
Yeah.
did an amazing thing at a time where they weren't representing diversity, blah, 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 la-di-da-di-da.
Yeah.
Don't come out and start belittling people.
Because
Maybe thank you to all the contestants
Yeah.
for making it happen.
Yeah.
Because without you, we wouldn't have a motherfucking show.
That part.
Do you know what I mean?
Listen,
Like,
I
Jesus Christ.
Fine.
I don't even think she was that disrespectful when
It
she
wasn't
said,
super, but go on.
when she said, I don't think it didn't throw me off. I think
watching?
I don't know what industry you guys belong to, but this is a place full of narcissism.
No.
This
Anyway.
did not. Her saying, "You're stitching our little clips up in there and putting things together."
You did it.
She was like,
Yeah.
You little people stitching up your things. Because in her mind, she's thinking there were so many moments that were brilliant. Like I remember Eva with the spider.
Yeah, we remember that. And Yaya did fantastically.
Right.
So,
So and Takora as well. Loved her.
Takora,
So her thing is, of all the things that came out of that show, you don't want to stitch up little things. Like your nan would say.
no, but
But
it's
there's a
like-
lot of things.
there's a
I
lot-
know that,
There's
but
a
in
lot.
her mind, she did so
but you
great.
But you cannot
You can't
be
rewrite
on this-
history
yeah.
and be
you
on the
can't-
podium and be
yeah.
like, I saved the world. That's what she's doing. Mate, I did
I did that. Who did that?
Me.
She literally did
Do
a
you know what I
massive.
mean?
I was rooting for you. You lot weren't grateful. Fuck y'all. I think there can be an argument that she could pose that she did actually change the modelling industry.
She did.
I think somebody could produce a dissertation on this. And
Someone has.
And they could find a lot of evidence.
On shit.
But then also the counter commentary is how many of them made it into big top model
Right.
status
A lot of them.
Okay, how many out of
into?
let's do percentages.
Top model.
How many models has Naomi put on?
Model.
No, that's not Naomi.
That
That's what
wasn't
Tyra
really
will say
trying
to
to
you.
do that
No,
shit.
but that's not
Okay,
Naomi.
okay.
I'm seeing Tyra right now.
Tyra.
I'm embody Tyra right now.
And you got the her.
I got the her.
Why are you trying to do that shit?
Put on as many
Seriously.
models as I did. That's what Tyra would
Yeah,
say.
no,
But the thing is, but how put on were they?
And
And it's
what
a reality
quality?
show. We know it's
That
a reality
part.
show, so we know that.
Yeah.
So we weren't necessarily, but there was an element of like, you're going to be the next top model. I don't have any problem with the series. I loved it until they started adding beards to men. Stupidness. The fake weave beards.
Oh yes, I
Beards
remember.
to
that.
men.
I weren't watching it, by
They
the way.
added
they added-
weave beards.
they-
When
no, I
they
wasn't
started, when they
It got
started
a
doing
bit
mixed,
crazy.
Oh, I watched
that's when it was the
I
end of
didn't
the
watch
thing.
that.
Yeah, it
They
went
started
nuts.
adding
Sounds
weave beards.
controversial.
I know, 'cause it was really silly. That's all.
Okay.
But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I've another point. I've lost my train of thought.
Oh.
we had
You were-
Britain's Next
Oh,
Top
I
Model
worked
as
on
well.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, we
I
had-
did
You were
the
trying to
series
say.
Yeah.
of Britain's Next
Oh,
Top
I
Model.
I know,
Who
thought.
now?
They'll come back.
Look, I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say. I think you said it earlier. I like my racism.
It's out there.
In your face.
In your face.
I need people to be consistently who they are.
Do you know what?
All
Give her
right.
that.
Okay.
You're standing on business.
Yeah,
and you
fair.
don't give a fuck.
She can have 1 point.
And the only reason I say that is because in this world there are so many men we can be cussing, but instead we're looking at Tyra. Tyra's not
No,
my
we
enemy.
cuss
She's
men.
not
No,
my
we cuss
enemy.
men.
No, I know we
Yeah,
do. That's
daily.
what
What Tyra was saying.
What?
Why
Yeah.
are you picking on the black woman?
Yeah, she's
Get out of here.
No, I'm on that side. Do you know why?
Why?
Because there's some real motherfuckers that need to be in line and checked, and I just think Tyra's right at the bottom
Like-
somewhere.
Kanye.
Yeah, but I'm talking like I just think Tyra is not the enemy. Like she can just
No,
go.
do you know what? That wasn't
Because
it.
I was going to say
Podium.
the women that she put on are still 20 years later relevant today. The fact that we can say
Some
Yaya
of them.
and you know who I'm talking
The
about.
24
of them.
series, yeah?
Some of
24.
them.
How many of
Yeah.
24
I don't know because
are
I'm not American, and also we didn't have social media then. We also didn't. We couldn't find
You need
ways
to
to
be
follow
told.
people.
I think there's
Tyra,
I think I
nothing.
should have been a lawyer
I
early.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you do so
What do you mean?
well.
do it.
do Tara's PR.
I will.
So well.
There's people that I can think of that
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
done.
3 out of 24.
I don't have the
24
same.
That's if you watched all 24. I didn't
Yeah,
watch them all.
24.
We didn't have access to TV like that then.
Yeah, we did. It
I
was
mean, but
on.
you can watch
Come
them
on,
I
anyway.
didn't. I didn't.
Okay.
I had to ask my
didn't.
aunties to go watch Sky and them things then.
Come on.
So I didn't have access to
She
watch.
changed.
I was in the
did
front.
that. What did you do?
We didn't have
I
smart
didn't.
TV. Do you know what I had? Do you know what I had for dinner? I had sleep for dinner.
I'm not joking. I can beg to go to my aunties to watch these shows.
Lisa, can I watch? No.
I turned into
I'm
Oliver.
talking like, in the cold mine, I used to go up chimneys at 6 a.m.
I could watch TV and I couldn't if I didn't clean your ass.
We never had a remote control. Do you know how I watched
I
social?
legit didn't know you was this funny.
Oh my God.